You walk into a room and you're talking to a friend. Suddenly, something feels off. The way they're looking at you, the way they're moving their hands, or maybe even the way they speak. You can't quite put your finger on it, but it's clear. They're not being totally honest with you. Something's not right. The question is, how do you know if they're lying, and why do people lie in the first place? In today's video, we're going to dive deep into the science of lying. Not only will we explore why we lie, but we'll also uncover how to spot a lie when it happens. It's something we've all experienced, either as the one telling the lie, or as the one trying to figure out the truth. So sit back, relax, and let's explore the fascinating world of deception. Let's start with the basics. Why do people lie in the first place? Surely not everyone is a bad person, right? We all lie. From the small white lies to the more serious, complex ones, lying is something humans do. It's so common we hardly even think about it, but lying isn't always about being malicious or trying to hurt someone. Sometimes it's about protecting ourselves or even others. Let's break this down a bit. The first big reason people lie is for self-protection. Picture this. You accidentally break something valuable at your friend's house. What do? Do you own up to it and risk their anger? Or do you make up a story to save yourself from the uncomfortable situation? Most people would go for the second option, and that's where the lie comes in. Think about it. We lie to avoid negative consequences. Maybe it's to keep our job, avoid punishment, or simply to dodge an awkward situation. It's our self-preservation instinct kicking in. But that doesn't mean the lie is harmless. When we lie to protect ourselves, we might end up hurting our relationships with others. But there's another reason people lie, to protect other people's feelings. Let's say a friend asks if you like their new dress, but honestly you think it's not great. What do you say? The truth might hurt their feelings, so you tell them, it's beautiful. These kinds of lies are usually called white lies. They're harmless, right? But here's the catch. Even though they seem innocent, these little lies can build up. They can create an environment where we're not entirely truthful with each other, and that can cause problems over time. Let's take a step back for a moment. What if I told you that lying isn't just something we do because we're trying to avoid trouble or protect others? What if it's something that's wired into us? Something that helped humans survive? Believe it or not, there's an evolutionary aspect to lying. Think about it. Thousands of years ago, humans didn't have technology or police forces to keep them safe. They had to rely on their wits and instincts to survive. Imagine you're living in a world where danger is everywhere. Wild animals, rival groups, and natural disasters. If you could deceive others, perhaps to hide where you found food or to make them think you were stronger than you really were, you could survive longer. Lying helped early humans protect themselves, gain resources, and even form alliances. And guess what? Those who were better at deception might have had a better chance of passing on their genes. So, in a way, lying became part of the human survival toolkit. But there's more to it than just social pressures and evolution. When we lie, our brains go through some pretty interesting changes. First, let's talk about the prefrontal cortex. This is the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, planning, and controlling your actions. When you tell the truth, your brain operates in a relaxed state. But when you lie, your prefrontal cortex is working overtime. Imagine you're telling a lie. Your brain has to think about what you're saying, make sure it makes sense, and remember the details. It's a lot of mental work, which is why people often look so nervous when they lie. The more complex the lie, the harder it is to keep the story straight. Now, there's something else going on inside your head. The amygdala, a tiny part of your brain that processes fear, is also involved. When you lie, it gets activated. This means your body is in a state of stress because you're scared you might get caught. That's why when people lie, they often experience physical symptoms like sweating or a racing heartbeat. Okay, we've talked about why people lie and what happens inside their brains, but how do we spot a lie when it happens? Is there a secret formula, a magical trick that lets you know when someone's not being truthful? Well, not exactly, but there are definitely signs to watch for. Let's start with the most obvious inconsistent details. If you ask someone a question and their story keeps changing, you might want to raise an eyebrow. Liars often struggle to keep their lies consistent and they can't remember all the details they've made up. Let's make it a bit more fun. Imagine you're at a party and someone starts telling a story about a recent trip. They say, I was on this amazing beach, the sun was shining, and I met this super cool guy who was a world traveler. But when you ask, where exactly was this beach? They can't give a clear answer or they change the subject quickly. Suspicious. Another classic sign is body language. People who lie might not make eye contact, or they might try too hard to keep it. They might fidget or touch their face a lot. These are all signs that their body is giving away what their words are trying to hide. But don't just focus on one sign. A liar can be good at hiding these things. You have to look for patterns. For example, a person might give a short, vague answer, then suddenly get defensive if you press them too much. That could be a sign that they're trying to deflect or cover something up. So what happens when lies aren't just harmless little fibs? When does lying become a problem? Well, if lying is done repeatedly, it can break trust. And once trust is broken, it can be really hard to fix. Think about it. When someone lies to you, whether it's a partner, a friend, or even a colleague, it makes you question everything they say. Every word starts to feel like it could be false. And trust, once shattered, is one of the hardest things to rebuild. In relationships, it's the foundation. Without it, everything starts to crumble. Lying can cause long-term damage to friendships and even family relationships. It can lead to resentment, bitterness, and even separation. And it's not just the big lies that hurt, it's the small ones, the ones that slowly erode trust over time. Now that we've explored the basics, let's get into something even more interesting, the different types of lies. Not all lies are created equal, and understanding these distinctions will help you recognize deception more easily. First up, we have white lies. These are the small, seemingly harmless lies that we tell to protect someone's feelings. For example, telling a friend, "Your new haircut looks amazing," when you don't exactly think it's their best look. White lies tend to be the least harmful, and are often used in social settings where the truth might cause discomfort. But then, there are exaggerations. These are lies where the truth is stretched, often to make ourselves look better. You've probably heard someone say, "I've worked 50 hours this week," when the actual number was closer to 40. Exaggerations are typically harmless, but they can lead to inflated expectations or even disappointment when the truth comes out, and then we have omissions. These are perhaps the most dangerous because they aren't technically lies in the traditional sense, but they are still deceptive. Omitting key details or leaving out important information to mislead someone is a form of dishonesty. It can be especially damaging in relationships or business settings, where full transparency is critical. Next, let's talk about blatant lies. These are the lies where the speaker knows they're fabricating the truth entirely, and they often do so with the intention to manipulate or deceive others. For example, a person who claims they were somewhere they weren't, to avoid an awkward confrontation or gain an advantage. These lies are more severe and can lead to serious consequences when they are uncovered. But there's one more type of lie that's a bit more complex, the self-deception. This is when people convince themselves of a lie because they want to believe it, even if it's not true. For instance, a person might tell themselves, "I don't need help," even though they're struggling emotionally. Self-deception can be a defense mechanism, but it can also hold people back from seeking the help or change they truly need. Self-deception is a fascinating part of the psychology of lying. And when we lie to ourselves, it's often because we are trying to avoid something we don't want to face, whether it's a painful truth, a fear, or an uncomfortable reality. The human brain has this incredible ability to rationalize or justify actions that align with our desires or emotions, even if they aren't true. This self-deception is often tied to cognitive dissonance, a psychological theory developed by Leon Festinger in the 1950s. Cognitive dissonance happens when we hold two contradictory beliefs at the same time, or when our behavior conflicts with our beliefs. For example, if you know smoking is harmful but continue to smoke, your brain will experience discomfort because the behavior contradicts your knowledge. To ease this discomfort, we might lie to ourselves, convincing ourselves that smoking isn't that bad, or that we can quit anytime we want. In this way, lying to ourselves isn't always about malice, it's about protecting our sense of self. It's our brain's way of reducing stress and maintaining a consistent positive image of ourselves. However, this can be a dangerous cycle, preventing personal growth and sometimes even leading to harmful decisions. Let's step into the present day for a moment. As technology continues to evolve, so does the way we lie. The rise of the internet, social media, and digital communication has created new avenues for deception. Online, we are able to curate and craft our identities. Social media platforms, for example, encourage us to present an idealized version of ourselves. We post our best photos, brag about our achievements, and sometimes even fabricate or exaggerate experiences to make ourselves look better. It's almost like we're creating a brand of ourselves that others can buy into. But it doesn't stop there. With the advent of technologies like deepfakes, which use artificial intelligence to create hyper-realistic videos or audio recordings that aren't true, lying has become easier and much harder to detect. Imagine watching a video of a politician giving a speech, but it turns out the video was completely fabricated. Deepfakes blur the line between truth and fiction, making it incredibly challenging to trust the information we consume online. This is where the importance of digital literacy comes in. With so much misinformation and deception circulating online, we need to be vigilant, question sources, and rely on fact-checking to navigate the digital world effectively. Now you might be thinking, are all lies bad? What about those little white lies we tell to spare someone's feelings? Or what about those times when lying might actually be the right thing to do? Let's consider the ethics of lying. In many cultures and societies, honesty is seen as a virtue. We're taught from a young age that telling the truth is important and that lying is something to be ashamed of. But the truth is, there are situations where lying may actually be necessary or ethical. Take, for example, the case of a doctor telling a patient they will be okay, even though their condition is serious. The intent behind this lie is not to hurt the patient, but to provide comfort and hope. In this case, the lie may be seen as ethically justified, as it serves to reduce the patient's anxiety and improve their quality of life during a difficult time. Or think about a situation where someone is in danger. A person might lie to protect someone from harm, like telling a thief that their friend isn't home when they are. In such cases, the intention behind the lie is not to deceive for selfish reasons, but to protect someone from immediate danger. Ultimately, the intent behind a lie, as well as the consequences it causes, plays a huge role in determining whether a lie is morally acceptable. A lie told with the intention of helping someone or preventing harm might be justified, while a lie told with the intent to manipulate or deceive for personal gain is usually considered unethical. But lies aren't just personal, they can have a profound effect on society as a whole. Think about it. Political leaders, corporations, and institutions have all been caught in lies that have altered the course of history. One example that comes to mind is the Watergate scandal, in which lies from government officials led to a massive political scandal, ultimately resulting in President Nixon's resignation. Another example is corporate deceit, where companies have lied about the safety of their products, leading to public health crises or environmental disasters. These lies affected millions of people and changed public trust in institutions forever. Lies can weaken societal trust, breed division, and cause chaos. When institutions lie, it can undermine people's belief in the systems that are supposed to protect and serve them. So, after all of this, we've learned that lying is not just a simple act of dishonesty. It's a complex, multi-layered behavior deeply rooted in psychology, survival instincts, and even societal structures. Lies can protect, deceive, and manipulate. They can also build or destroy relationships, alter the course of history, and affect our daily lives. But remember, understanding why we lie, and how to detect lies isn't about becoming paranoid or cynical. It's about being aware and critical thinkers. With this knowledge, we can navigate the world more wisely, make better decisions, and build trust in our relationships. So, next time someone tells you something, ask yourself, is this the full truth? And maybe more importantly, ask yourself, why do I lie, and how can I become more honest with myself and others? Thanks for sticking with me through this deep dive into the science of lying. I hope you've learned something new and thought-provoking today. If you want more content like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, stay curious, stay truthful, and remember, the truth is always worth seeking. Know more. Be more.